1948. The world was rebuilding after World War II. America was booming with optimism, and inside millions of pockets jingled a small coin that would one day become a quiet treasure. The 948D, Jefferson Nickel. Support our effort, subscribe, like, and share so we can keep bringing you more amazing stories of rare coins and hidden treasures that might just be sitting in your own change jar. Now, the 1948D Jefferson Nickel marks a turning point in US coinage history. Just a few years earlier, during the war, nickels were made with silver to save metal for military supplies. But by 1946, silver was gone from the mix. And by 1948, the mint was back to using the classic 75% copper and 25% nickel alloy. The D mint mark on the back, next to Monticello, tells us this coin was struck in Denver, and over 44.7 million were made that year. But here's the thing, finding one in perfect condition today is not easy. Let's start with the basics. The 1948D Jefferson Nickel features the familiar portrait of Thomas Jefferson, designed by Felix Schlag. On the reverse is Jefferson's home, Monticello, framed by clean lines and symmetry. Most people see this coin and think, it's just pocket change. But collectors know better. In worn, circulated condition, the 1948D nickel is worth around 10 to 25 cents. But the magic starts when you find one that's uncirculated, with full luster and crisp details. In mint state 65, the coin can fetch around $20 to $30. At MS 66, that number jumps to $100, $200. But if you have one graded, MS 67 full steps, the value skyrockets. One of these beauties sold at auction for an astonishing $43.13. Why the huge jump in price? It's all about strike quality. See, most nickels from the late 1940s were struck with worn dies that left soft details, especially on Monticello's steps. But when the strike was perfect, and all 6 steps are fully visible and separated, collectors call it a full steps nickel. These are extremely rare for 1948D, and that's why they command such high prices. Now let's talk about errors and varieties, because this is where things get fun. Some 1948D nickels show repunched mint marks, RPMs. That's when the D mint mark was punched more than once, leaving a shadow or double D, depending on clarity. These can bring in $50 to $150 easily. Others have die cracks, struck through grease errors, or off-center strikes, and those can range anywhere from $100 to $500. If you happen to find a proof-like surface, a coin with mirror-like shine, which occasionally appears when a new die was used, those can be worth even more to specialists. Let's set the scene. It's 1948. The war is over. The baby boom is in full swing, and the American economy is on fire. Gas costs 26 cents a gallon, bread costs 14 cents, and a brand new nickel could buy you a candy bar. The mint was pushing out millions of coins to meet the growing demand, but almost nobody thought to save nickels in pristine condition. That's why uncirculated 1948D examples, especially full steps ones, are so scarce. They just didn't survive untouched. If you want to hunt for one, look in old coin rolls, estate collections, and junk silver lots. Even though nickels aren't silver, they often get mixed in with old coins. Check change jars and flea markets. 2. Many people have no idea what they're holding. Now let's talk about selling. If you find a common circulated coin, you can list it on eBay or Etsy for a small profit. But if you have one that looks mint, shiny, clean and sharp, don't sell it raw. Send it to a grading company like PCGS or NGC. Once certified, it can be sold for much higher value, especially to collectors looking to complete their Jefferson Nickel sets. And if you have a rare full steps example, it's auction time. The best venues are heritage auctions, Stack's Bowers, or Great Collections, where serious collectors compete and prices soar. Here's what to look for when checking your 1948D Jefferson Nickel. Luster. It should shine under light with no dull or grey surfaces. Steps on Monticello. Count all 6. Complete and sharp steps equal premium value. Marks. Minimal contact marks or scratches. The fewer the better. Mint mark. Look for doubled or repunched D marks. They're collectible. Even though it's not made of silver, the 1948D nickel carries history in every detail. It represents the return to normalcy after wartime, rationing, and a nation rediscovering prosperity. For collectors, it's a symbol of craftsmanship and resilience, and a reminder that value isn't always measured in precious metals. Many people still overlook this coin, tossing it into change jars or spending it without a thought. But in the right grade, this little piece of 1940s, America can be worth thousands and tell a story from a time when every coin meant something. So next time you're sorting through your nickels, stop if you see that little D next to Monticello and the date 1948. You might be holding a piece of American history and possibly a hidden fortune. Support our effort, subscribe, like, and share so we can keep uncovering rare coins, telling their stories, and helping you discover the hidden treasures that might be waiting right in your pocket change. 1948, a year when America was rebuilding. Optimism filled the air, and in your pocket, a simple 5-cent coin told a story of post-war change. The 1948 Jefferson Nickel, or 5-cent coin, may look ordinary, but under the right light, it can be a treasure worth thousands. Support our effort, subscribe, like, and share so we can keep bringing you incredible stories of hidden coin, treasures waiting in plain sight. Now, the 1948 5-cent coin marks an important return to normalcy. During World War II, the US Mint used silver in nickels to save nickel metal for military use. But by 1948, production was back to the traditional alloy, 75% copper and 25% nickel. That alone makes it the first normal peacetime Jefferson nickel after the war. The coin features Thomas Jefferson on the front, a design by Felix Schlag that had been used since 1938. On the back, you'll see his home Monticello, under the motto A Pluribus Unum. If you look closely, the mint mark appears to the right of Monticello. A 1948 with no mint mark was struck in Philadelphia, and one with a small D came from Denver. In total, more than 118 million nickels were struck that year. 89.3 million in Philadelphia and 44.7 million in Denver. That sounds like a lot, but pristine survivors are surprisingly scarce. In everyday circulated condition, the 1948 nickel is only worth 10 to 25 cents. But when you step into uncirculated grades, values start to climb fast. A high-grade coin, with its original mint luster and no scratches, can bring 25 to 60. Now here's where things get exciting. Coins that show every line on Monticello's steps, known as full steps, are the crown jewels for collectors. These are coins struck so sharply that all 5 or 6 steps are fully visible. Only a handful exist for 1948, and that's what drives the price into 5 figures. The record auction price for a 1948 full steps nickel sits above $1,800, and some with extraordinary surfaces and mirror-like luster have fetched more than $2,000. Imagine turning a 5-cent coin into $2,000. That's the magic of condition rarity. But that's not the only path to profit. Some 1948 nickels show fascinating mint errors, off-center strikes, clipped planchets, die cracks, and even double die obverses. A double die coin, where Jefferson's features or the lettering appear slightly doubled, can bring $200 to $600, depending on clarity and grade. And if the coin is both a major error and in mint condition, the value can jump well past $1,000. To appreciate this coin, think about the world in 1948. Harry Truman was president. Television was just entering homes, and gas cost 26 cents a gallon. Coins like these bought you a cup of coffee or a newspaper. No one imagined they'd one day become collectible artifacts of a defining era. If you have one of these coins, here's what to check. First, look under a bright light at Monticello. Are the steps complete? Does it have that silvery grey shine? Any sharp details around Jefferson's hair and cheek? Those are the marks of a high-grade coin. And please, never clean it. Cleaning can destroy its natural luster and cut its value in half. If it looks uncirculated, consider sending it to a grading company like PCGS or NGC. A graded and slabbed 1948 nickel carries much more trust and sells for more online. You can sell common examples on eBay or Facebook Marketplace. But if you have one with full steps or a major error, send it to an auction house like Heritage Auctions or Stack's Bowers. Collectors worldwide hunt for these sharp strike nickels. Even though it's not made of silver, the 1948 5-cent coin carries value in rarity, beauty, and historical significance. It's a symbol of America's recovery and resilience, a small piece of metal that traveled through the hands of a generation rebuilding after war. So next time you sort through your change, take a closer look at those nickels. That old 1948 5-cent coin might not just be pocket change. It could be a window into history and, if you're lucky, worth a small fortune. Support our effort. Subscribe, like, and share so we can keep bringing you more videos about rare coins their stories, and the hidden gems that might be waiting right in your pocket.